You're tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your number one source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey.
Right now, we're listening to the new single from Leela James called Say That featuring
Anthony Hamilton.
Yes. I really do like this song, and I like the video too.
I like it swag.
Hey, what's up? You're tuned into AFTERBUZZ TV for R&B Divas LA, Season 2, Episode 6, titled From Ratchetness to Righteousness. I am your host, Bamm Ericsen, and please introduce yourself.
I am Alfred Nolan Thomas II. What up?
I like the tone of Leela's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like that old school good cooking mother swag.
Yes.
Like she must. I wonder when she started having that kind of aura about her. It had to be young, with the old soul, young kids.
And she don't play. And so now we're gonna go into Leela's story first. So last night on the episode, Leela had an interview. She's doing some promotion because the song that we're just playing is our biggest radio airplay song today, which is the Say That with Anthony Hamilton. So they met at Eminem's Soul Food Place. Have you ever been there before?
No. Oh wait, Eminem's?
Yeah.
Down in Crenshaw?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were at a very, very popular soul food place, she and Anthony, and they were talking about how they just need to really, get into the swing of things and really, really press the song since it's getting a lot of play. They need to go out and promote it. So I thought that was a cool thing that they did. And so now she has this interview with Madame Noir and potentially Boss Up.
Yeah.
And it didn't go so well.
I thought it was not well prepared for on the interviewer's behalf, but I felt like, not to say that she was unprofessional, because I think you kind of should expect those kind of questions coming from the internet type interviewers. I think that it definitely was understandable how she had attitude, but at the same time, I think that just caught her off guard, and then it showed a little bit of unprofessionalism.
The lady's name was Diane. She's a producer from Madame Noir, and some of the questions that she asked was, she says, "Soul music is a dying breed. What do you have to say about that statement?" And she says, "How was it dead? I'm still here. What?" Then she asked, "How does she feel pressure to conform to the industry today?" And she said, "No." And then she says, "Are you dating anyone?" She says, "That's my personal business." Then after that, she says, "Is he in the industry?" And she says, "I'm just gonna go on and pass. How about that?" Then, why do you keep your life? She asks, why do you keep your life so personal? And then she goes forward to talk about Jay Hudson, says sex is talked about too much. And then she talked about Patty and the statement that Patty feels like the term diva is overrated. And she agreed with it, but then says that, there's many who can't sing one note. Then she goes and asks, does she want to drop any names? For me, I feel it could have gone better both ways.
Yep.
Leela's people, publicist, manager, whoever, should have told Madame Noir and potentially Boss Up that, hey, this is what I want to talk about. This is what you do not ask me. If her team does not give any instructions on what to talk about, then it gives an open floor for
anything to be shut out.
For anything to be shut out. So that's bad on Leela's part or her management. But also on the other part, I feel like Dana and the people at Madame Noir should do their research on who you're interviewing, because just watching Leela from these past 6 episodes, you get a vibe of who she is. So I wouldn't ask her these kind of questions from the bat if she comes off a certain way. I wouldn't ask about her personal life. I wouldn't ask about I wouldn't do anything that's going to piss her off unless you are going on say something like a Wendy Williams or Charlamagne the God, where they are who they are and they're going to ask these questions. But anytime that I've seen interviews on Madame Noir, you never see who the person is interviewing. There are the pictures that the questions that comes up is inserted on the screen, and then the artist or the celebrity or whatever you want to call them then answers the question. So I don't feel that she had a right to ask those questions. She should have done her research.
I think it was a combination of that somewhat, but I mean, I felt like with proper preparation, like you said, with her management wanted to dictate what they were going to do with the interview. I don't think anybody had a real angle or a point to the interview, and I think that's why it started becoming like just shoot off any kind of questions from personal and all and just get a big gist. But I think with the way that Leela responded so early on with that negativity, she should have, as an interviewer, changed it be the tone to be more comfortable. Because the whole point is to, promote the song, get it out, and uplift her image. But it seemed like no point or purpose was. And
then speaking of that, she said, you have the new single with Anthony Hamilton, and she says, yeah, something about we're really excited about it. And then she says, okay, well. Looking forward to that, and then she goes straight into. She seemed like she didn't want to interview in the first place. Hands down, she felt like she didn't want to be bothered, or Leela wasn't interested enough for her. So she was just going through the motion. She didn't seem like she cared. So that's I
would say she didn't seem like she cared, but I think she handled it kind of poorly. That would be the best thing, because she was smiling and she was dealing with the fact that Leela wasn't liking the things that she said. But it's sometimes where the interviewer, either their goal is to A, get as much information as they can, or B, make that person look a certain type of way. And I don't think she chose either. And that's why it became just a blah and Leela blew up.
Yeah. And then Leela then goes to a photo shoot for Amber Magazine. And again, when she comes in, they said because her hair was blown out, they're gonna, start to do the look, I guess, with the blown out look. And then Leela starts talking about something about makeup. Contour and makeup and how she doesn't like to do certain things. But then they wound up putting some pink color gloss or something on her lips, and she actually liked it. And so it was a smooth shoot. But when you're doing a photo shoot, normally there is some kind of plan that's already figured out, so that the stylist, all the people can have all the stuff ahead of time. And so then within whatever the theme or whatever they're trying to do, then they bring different options and sizes and so forth. So the fact that Leela came by herself, she didn't have manager. She came by herself. She no manager, no PR, no nothing. So I'm wondering, maybe Leela doesn't have. No, I know she does have. Would. Yeah. So I don't understand why this wasn't discussed. If she's not willing to do certain things, then why was that not mentioned prior to that, so that the people would come prepared with however they were going to do her hair, from the makeup, the clothes. I mean, luckily it worked out okay, or maybe this is just something for TVOne.
Probably. I mean, I thought it was a cool team, and in the sense of Leela, I kind of accepted her for having kind of a standoffish. She says she's very combative when it comes to hair and makeup and all that kind of stuff. So I already kind of went more on the team side, because they did have a vision. They showed her the vision board. They tried different things, and when she wasn't liking it, they kind of folded and compromised in different areas. So for me, it was cool. It just, like I said, like you said, with her management, there should be more of an idea of what they want going into those situations. It seems like they just throwing her in there.
And then I'm also gonna just jump on this, Leela. If you are trying to get more exposure, Boss Up is one of the top Black urban blogs. So the fact that Boss Up wanted to do an interview with you, you have Madame Noir, and then you have a cover shoot for a magazine. You have to. I understand that you are in your ways about certain things, but baby, you got to give on something, you know. Okay, I mean, you don't need, you know, they're not trying to, you know, give you this long weave and make you into this, you know, make you wear hot pants. But you have to give a little bit if you're trying to push a single and potentially do another single, and you're trying to get yourself out there. You have to give a little bit. You can't just have your arms folded and not want to be able to adjust to some things, because when you're doing magazine shoots and some of the other things, it's like
it's more their idea of with incorporating you. So I'm sure them situations were not only just fortunate that people are interested in her song and what's going on with her, but it does become an educational tool for those who are in the industry to know that, you know, sometimes you're gonna get questions you don't like. But the overall thing is to control what you can, which was her attitude, and which was the way she could have dictated how that interview. And if she felt that way, she should have helped the girl out with, let's talk about this, or da 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 da, and I want to promote this, and but it seemed like her attitude was too much of an obstacle for her.
And then I'm going to jump on your side. I'm going to jump against Leela. Also, she's from that era. Shantae Moore was here a couple weeks ago, and she said, you know, back in the day, there was training and there was things artist development where you learned how to conduct interviews, and when people ask you uncomfortable things, you have to figure out how to change topics without, you know, making everything work. And I feel as mature as Leela is, I felt that she could have totally twisted that interview. This is gonna sound mean, but she could have totally took control of that interview, because that girl Dana had a motive. She had an agenda to be dirty and ask certain questions. I felt like with Leela's intelligence, she could have outsmarted her, and she could have totally turned the interview around.
But I didn't think she was trying to be vindictive with those questions. I just think that Leela took it a certain type of way because of who she is. And respecting that, I didn't mind her opinion, because is soul music dead? That could have, for me, been a platform for her to be like, no, it's not dead. There's things going on. I know, you know, with what's popular right now.
I agree. That question wasn't as bad as Leela made it seem, but the way she shunned the topic when she asked about the album, and then she went immediately for me, I didn't like how the girl conducted the interview. That's just my opinion. But we can move forward.
Yeah.
And so now let's go with Little Mo. So now Little Mo is at her house, and she has company over it. She has gospel artist Ty Tribute and her homegirl Mookie, who's a singer, and she also works with Little Mo's ex-husband, who's Philip is her vocal producer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who Mookie is, but Ty Tribute is one of the hottest gospel artists right now, and he's very. If you've never seen him live, it's like, wow. You won't see many gospel singers who's able to do full choreography, dance, and sing full voice at the same time and shout. I mean, they really turn up. So Little Mo, they apparently been working on this thing, a group where, because you know, Ty's style of gospel is I can't even describe his gospel, but mix. Google Ty Tribute and Google a song called "He Turned It," and that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, they going on that song, but anyway, and so Ty has this style, and then Mookie has her. She's kind of like pop gospel, and then Mo is Ratchet.
Yeah.
She's Ratchet, so she feels that the three of them together would be a good blend. But the only problem is, you know, the songs that they were working on, Philip was involved, and Little Mo does not want him to be involved. Ty wants him to be involved, and then of course Mookie is like, well, we're tight, you know, I have to let him know that he's not a part of this, and so that's where the conflict come in. What do you think?
It's sad because unfortunately when relationships in business, sometimes you wish in a utopia world that they will always be able to coexist, but this is a prime example of being in a deep situation with somebody, and interrupting the possibility of greatness, because she even acknowledges how dope Philip is and what he can bring to the table, but the fact that she can't get over her problems with him, which is understandable for what it's worth, at the same time it shows how I wondered how that was going to play with him being so involved in her life business wise, and them having her being such a exciting type person, and then where that relationship goes from his business with other people and all that. And then it's sad because it does get in the way of friendships, and people got to choose sides. And this is like just a beginning of what could really go down to, you talking money and numbers and percentages and all that will always be affected by that broken past relationship and whatever happened being used as weapons for opinions and all that stuff. So.
Well, Mookie says that she has to tell him, and then Mo says, don't tell him nothing. He don't tell me nothing. Do you think that Mookie, do you think she is right for wanting to tell Philip? Okay.
Because, I mean, it's just proper etiquette when it comes to business and making sure nothing ever gets mucky and muddy, to just know, because I mean, as long as it's got to do with what he's got to do with, at some point it's going to cross his path, and it was best that it's upfront and straightforward, even if he is or is not involved. The last thing Mookie wants is to all of a sudden look like she's being shady when she has the relationship currently with him, and it's progressively moving forward, hopefully.
I totally agree. So I mean,
but I will say, you know, Lil Mo, you kind of should have prepared yourself for this even before, you know, the breakup and all that, or during it, especially when the way it affects your household with your kids, and knowing that you're going to have a lot of responsibility that he was taking care of all of a sudden put on your plate, or it's probably dropping the ball now-ish. And now you got to deal with working around him and trying to figure that out.
Yeah, she seems overwhelmed because it hit her all at one time. And so now she has to realize, oh, snap, now I have to take care of all this myself, because she was, you know, I guess living comfortable with him having to do everything. Yeah, I totally agree. Mookie should have informed Phil.
But she shouldn't be against it either. She should let everything be in the air so you can do what you do. And if he can help or has the heart to help, I'm sure he would be there. I mean, people don't have to be together in order to coexist, although it doesn't always happen.
Especially because, and sometimes in breakups, you need time before you could actually stand each other
again. I don't think
again.
they had enough time to heal.
No,
and
not
all
at
that
all.
Kind of stuff.
So Ty makes the best solution. He says, well, when we go back to the East Coast, we will work on it. Or actually, basically they agreed.
They all agreed.
They agreed that they will go back to the East Coast. They'll work on the song. They'll send her the song, and she'll do what she has to do here in LA so that she doesn't have to see Phil. That works.
I don't think it'll work forever, but it'll at least get the work done.
But yeah,
to figure out if it's even worth investing the time. Because I mean, who knows? Maybe the fact that they're on odds right now, maybe that magic won't be as potent. Yeah. And then if it's not, then there ain't no point to even sweat it.
And then who's to say that Phil doesn't even want to take part of it?
Yeah, he might not even want to do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Because we haven't heard nothing from Phil, and who knows what that man is thinking. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and him being in the church and, you know, managing this and doing that. I'm sure he had to sit down and have powwows with mad people. He probably don't want to see her just as much as she don't want to see him.
Yeah, and you're right. He has yet to respond on any of this. So, you know.
But I know it's a lot. He got a lot to ponder.
Yeah. And so let's go forward. So Little Mo is having a show at the Maverick Flats, which is also, it's on Crenshaw, and it's near Crenshaw and Martin Luther King. It's kind of by the Walmart. Yeah. And so she's having this big show to introduce the band that she has with Ty and Mookie. The only problem is now, because of because of the weather, they're snowed in and they can't leave, which is very common on the East Coast in the winter during Grammy week or during the whole Grammys. That's very common. So she gets into it a little bit with her manager, Bella, because she didn't know this. So she just just blurts, and she just has a moment where she spazzes and she goes off, and she's pissed off because, you know, this was the whole point and why she was having this thing. So
for me, I would have canceled it. And nothing but a show or postponed it or whatever. With the way she reacted to, you know, she didn't seem like she was in a place to want to deal with any work that she did with Philip.
Yeah.
To something that it seemed like she wasn't prepared for just doing a random show. She was focused on trying to put this group together and have everything. I think that takes a lot out.
But also, as they were doing the walkthrough at Mavericks, she didn't find out that they weren't coming until then.
Right then.
And I'm assuming it was maybe 1 or 2 days. I agree. I think she should have just canceled the show, period. End of story. Should have canceled it.
It wasn't that big of a deal.
It wasn't that big,
like
yeah.
you're going to make a whole bunch of money off of it. It was definitely within the means of things happening. And this is what this is a proper way to respond to that. If you don't want to do the show, don't do the show, especially if you ain't making a whole lick off of it. So
yeah, I agree. I think she should have just canceled the show, and had she canceled the show,
she would have not had that moment, which was interesting. Because I mean, I think all people are vulnerable to being caught up or being ill prepared, and it was cool to see, no matter what, that, you know, if you've established yourself and everybody knows your talent, they'll always support you with no matter what you're going through. And people clearly understood her position at the time, so I think they were very supportive. The whole crowd, the food at Mavericks is dope. So
is it?
Yes, it is. That food is good. I've been to a couple shows there. Yeah.
And so now let's discuss the show. So when Mo was in the back, all the divas went to support her, and so she says, you know, how she's going, how she's dealing with certain things and how she feels, and the girls pretty much support her, saying that, you know, everything's gonna be fine, you know, you'll get through it.
This is a good moment.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's nice to see moments where the girls get together. You just see their friendships evolve, their support level evolve, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, for me, yeah, you know, she got through it, and so she sung the song. She said that she sung the song "Just Not Into You." She did the performance, and all the girls are there, like you said, and then in the middle, I would say maybe towards the song, like almost to like pretty much the last minute 40 seconds of the song.
Yeah, she missed the bridge. It sounded like.
And she sat there and she just had a moment. I
didn't mind it. Like, that's what was cool about, I guess, the diva monologues and all this stuff to set up what she's kind of been going through for people, and for her to, you know, be able to open up more rather than it just be. It didn't feel like an embarrassing moment. It did feel like, oh, something wrong.
And then you know what she was saying prior to the show, she wasn't sure if she learned the words and all this other stuff. All right, now let me get on Little Mo. So listen, if you're going to do this show, learn the words, or do like we do in church. You a lot of times in church we have a podium, we have the little stand, something where the words are for you to look at. Then you need to make sure that you know the words.
And my thing is, it's just the one song.
Yeah, and it's one song. I mean, she apparently did another song that we saw her doing the whole little nay thing. So she was doing something. She probably did Superwoman or something, but they didn't show her singing, but they only showed the song. You need to learn those words, because you just need to learn the words. Now, she did improvise and she ad-libbed and she did some other stuff, but you need to learn those words. Period. Hands blank. Learn the words.
But they love you and supported you, so that was cool to see. But yeah, it was just a mess up.
Yeah.
But like I said, with all that was going on, it was cool to see her kind of work her way through it. I mean, you don't have to just shut down. I think that's what Michelle did on her performance at the Martin Luther King thing, just walk off stage. Whereas at least this one stayed on stage and took it up the chin.
Yeah, she did. And at least the sound was good.
Yep.
Thank goodness. And then we want to also just tell you guys about iTunes. Make sure you guys go to iTunes. Make sure you download, rate, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend, because of you guys and all the support that you guys give us here on AfterTunes. We're able to have this nice studio and other studios and other rooms here in AfterBuzz Studios. So thank you guys so much. And again, iTunes, download, rate, subscribe, comment, and please tell all of your friends and family. Okay, so now let's go to Chrisette Michelle. So her and the Golden Girls, as they like to call themselves, which is Chrisette, Little Mo, Michelle, and Leela. They went to some little restaurant and they were discussing, basically congratulating Chrisette because she's nominated for a Grammy, and they're all having fun talking or whatever. And Chrisette says that she wants to have a very nice little intimate little party and celebration for it. And then there was this small conversation about Little Mo asking, has the standards changed for the Grammys? Which I've always thought that, because it's really interesting. If you look back, there are a lot of groups who've had multiple hits, who's been nominated several times and has never won a Grammy. And now you have, people who are popular who win Grammys. It's just my opinion. Don't represent AfterBuzz, but you have someone like Diana Ross who Supremes. She was like the diva of all diva, and Diana Ross has never won a Grammy.
But I think
I'm just saying,
it's kind of an evolution of our society in a way too. I think has made it evolve, I would say, in a lot of categories over the years, and I feel like it does put a weird kind of stigmatism between those who have gotten Grammys and those who don't. Because there's no like real fairness, and it is in the hands of people who get to choose kind of ish. So then it becomes half salty, half feeling like they have to, justify why they got it. You know what I mean? I feel like it. I don't know what the proper answer is to getting all that fair and balanced.
Well, I'll say it. I feel the standards have changed, and it works in people's favor who is popular. And for artists, someone like, Chrisette, she lost to Alicia Keys. Now, I can't tell you a song Alicia Keys had out last year. Did she have an album out last year?
I don't know.
It was This Girl Is on Fire.
Yeah, I was about to say the fire joint.
Please. So anyway, so they have this intimate part. They have this very intimate party. It was very, very intimate. And some of the women felt that they were overdressed. And so Chrisette performed this song called Super that she says because she doesn't feel like she's like, superwoman, but she just feels super. So she did this song called Super. What did you think about it?
That was cool. I mean, I think I gotta hear it again to know whether I like it or not. Cause she has the artsy swag on everything. So I really dig Chrisette's eclecticness and the fact that she likes things intimate and very like candles and aroma and all that kind of stuff. You can tell goes on with her. So I mean, I think everything that she does is very interesting. I just don't know if I necessarily buy into it all the time. Is that the right way to say it?
Well,
I think so.
I thought she sounded great as always, but the song bored me. I have to be in the mood to be in that, that real earthy type music, I like Ratchet. I like music that I can move to.
Yeah.
So she sounds great, but I have to be in the mood to listen to that kind of music, and that's just not something I have to like be in the mood where I'm like cleaning or in the house and I'm in a space. But she sounds good, but I don't like the song.
I feel her music comes with a strong feeling. That's why she's been nominated and having the success she has. She comes with like a strong or feeling behind her whole swag. But
I mean, there's plenty other songs of hers that I do like. So, but this one,
I gotta hear it again.
Yeah, well, I'm good. It's just on to the next song for me. Yeah. So then she's getting ready for the Grammy. She's going to look at dresses, and she doesn't know what she wants to wear, but she really wants to. She wants to really represent herself, and she's kind of nervous because she says that the Grammys is not really about. It's not about the award. It's about the red carpet, and it's about you being seen and exposing yourself to this whole media outlet.
But I think it's like the difference between a franchise athlete compared to someone who's just like playing sports in the streets. Yeah. It it's not about the game. It's about the fact that you can get endorsements.
Yeah.
You can get all these people to look at you in a different light, which would in the end equal dollar signs. So being amongst those people, you don't even have to win. It's an honor to be nominated or anything like that. But at the same time, just to be on that red carpet telling the world about what's going on, and it being from venues that can really, you know, push your brand, you know, and from magazines to networks, ETV, that kind of stuff goes with the Grammys red carpet. So you know that you're not just, oh, who knows if I'll see this interview. Somebody's gonna see this and it's gonna impact my life.
Did you like what she chose? She chose this she chose like a jacket, I guess some kind of little halter top or something, and she wore like pants and I guess like high heels.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, you know, but I like her artsy fartsy side, and I like the fact that she's one of those kind of artists that push that, and it doesn't come off like weirdo. So
what was subtle, I liked how her makeup artist decided to take her out to the balcony to do her hair and makeup, because they know how she is, and you know, it was a nice, great view. And I think for someone like Ratchet, that would, for her to see the world and to see the view in the freeways and all the, just like, if you've ever have the opportunity to come to LA, you know, go somewhere where you can be high up and see the actual city of LA at nighttime or evening. It's really, really beautiful. And I thought that was really good that the makeup artist knew that Ratchet was in she was feeling a certain way. So just put her outside to just kind of calm her mind. And I thought that was really cool.
Cause she was really uptight.
Yeah, she was really uptight.
Hella uptight.
And then so she brought her brothers Sean and Lim with her, and when they're on the bus or the SUV or whatever they were riding in, the brothers was kind of talking a lot, you know, and she's just trying to zone everybody out because, you know, she's really nervous. And I don't think her brothers really understood what she was going through, and they're just like, you know, hey, you know, I'm with my sister, you know, turn up, we ready to party. And I mean, I too also have had that feeling where you have people around you and you're just like, shut the hell up, I'm trying to, you know. So
I don't think they understood how much responsibility she had at that time. They thought it was like chill time and just figure out if you won the award. But for her, it's like, this is, and for her and the publicist, they were very aware of how important each, you know, aspect of that carpet was, from the interviews to the pictures to making it seem like it's still showing that you're having a good time. Yeah,
she said she didn't have any problem taking the pictures. What she was afraid of was the red carpet, because she and the microphone and people asking questions, but she said that everything turned out really great. Her publicist had mentioned all the different media sources that went out. She was interviewed by Access Hollywood, OMG Insider, CNN Live, MTV Live, Fuss Live. So she got exposure to a lot of different avenues, and it seemed to go really, really great. And so she didn't want to go to the Grammy party. She was like, I'm done. I
think she was like that because she ain't win. Because it's still like, you know, I felt like she accepted it. It was cool for Alicia to win. But, you know, when you are put on that kind of platform and your goals are met in certain aspects, I think that it can be a little draining, and you want to be in people's face, post, oh, how do you feel? Having answered that question at that point would be the annoying one.
Yeah, but also it's a business, and she mentioned about how having to do things for a record label, and her manager said, because she wanted to go to she was really excited about the Pandora party, and her manager's like, well, that's fine, we're gonna go to that party, but I think we should go to the label's party first. You know, business is business. And so I understand that she didn't want to go to the parties, but she should have, you know, do like some entertainers do. You walk in, you stay 5-10 minutes, and you bounce. But you know, sometimes you have to make your presence known, and she probably should have went to that party, especially being that they weren't really supportive of her Opus Lyricist album. But the fact that now she has all this exposure, she had all these media outlets. I'm sure she probably mentioned it in a couple interviews. It can now make the her record label be like, okay, maybe we need to support this. So sometimes you have to give a little in order to get, and she should have, I felt like she should have at least went to the to that party, even if she stayed for 5 minutes, get your picture taken, go say hi, shake hands with so-and-so, and then do the, oh, I'm not feeling very well, my throat, give any excuse. They're going to be like, oh, okay, it's okay, you know, thank you for coming, and then you get the hell out of there.
You missing all them gifts.
Yeah.
Gifts.
Yeah, well, let's go into news and gossip.
Yep.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so the only news and gossip that we have is it's rumored that the R&B Divas LA cast taped their reunion last week for the reunion special out in New York with Wendy Williams. And so
That'll be interesting.
now we can transition to I guess also predictions, because I wonder how it went. I wonder who cried. I wondered, you know.
I bet she got in depth with Little Mo Phillip.
Mm-hmm.
She probably made Misha Lee cry because of the suicide thing. And I bet you she ain't budged Leela.
Yeah.
That's probably the only one who's sitting strong the whole time.
So, as always, as I said with the Atlanta one, I felt it was unnecessary to have a part 1 and part 2. For this season so far, with only 6 episodes, I only see necessary for a part 1, unless this whole Puerto Rico thing turns up. But a 2-part, I don't see it. Just get to the point, get to the questions, and don't prolong it. But it should be interesting to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will be as dramatic as Atlanta was. I don't think anybody.
There was a lot of crap going on with them.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna walk off and quit. I don't think any of that's gonna happen. But I think it should be interesting because, you know, Wendy, she likes to get the dirt. So now let's go into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. What's your predictions?
I predict that everything is gonna come together for the Puerto Rico trip, and all that music is gonna get. We're gonna get to see how they work with Warren. I like what they did in this show with the whole salsa dancing to prepare for
I forgot to mention that.
the interest of them working on that project. So I think that will come together in a nice, cool way, and hopefully that brings a nice little ending to the show.
Well, Shantae mentioned when she was here that
she didn't say something about her verse that much, but she made a big old, I'm gonna work on my verse.
She said that she was the only one, when she was here at the AfterBuzz studio, she said that she was the only one that sung background vocals. And so she referenced to Warren in next week's episode that she's the only one that didn't have a lead. And Warren was like, do you have a problem with that? And she's like, yeah. So...
Because it says something when you're the only one not chose to sing a verse compared to...
But then Warren did say that he felt that with it being a song about Puerto Rico, Shantae is the only one that could really give that sexiness for the background vocals. I mean,
he must have put it all throughout the song for that to make sense as a justification of not having a verse. It's like, brother, you chose everyone but me.
Yeah.
That says something.
I'm going to reserve judgment until I hear the song.
Yep.
Because if you can totally hear Shantae in the background, no, she should have. But then again, it's hard because you have six.
That's what I'm saying. So at least 2 or 3 of them should have been out. If you're going to make them comfortable that ain't everybody singing, at least 2 or 3. But when you got one.
Or split them up in half. He already said that he was going to two different versions. I don't know. But Misha Lee mentions how she has a performance in San Diego, and then on the flyer, it has a picture of the R&B Divas. The Divas, Misha Lee thinks that the Divas thinks that the Divas are performing, and the ladies are like, no, we're not. And so you can see Shantae goes off saying that, you know, her picture should have been on there, not the entire group's picture. So I like the fact that the Divas are sticking up for Misha Lee, but you know, it's
a management thing. I don't know why they keep throwing her against these like weird situations. These are a little too awkward of incidents for me. I'll be looking at who's hovering over my stuff and being like, you need to go there early and make sure it is what it is.
Yeah, it seems like her managers are like these
It's like, oh, we heard about this. You want to go do this show? Let's go do it.
They come off to me as those gangster types from the 70s shows with the suits and you know, like the they called them back in the day. They called them street hustle, not street.
Selling moonshine, pimping women.
Yeah, they seem like they don't have her best interests, and it's just like, you know, they have that whole pin mentality, like you're gonna go out there and you're gonna do this, and she's not. Her opinion is not being asked.
Maybe it's just how they used to get things done with her in reflection of how time has changed for her, and maybe not for their system. Maybe that's what's going on. It just seemed like they cared when they were talking about the suicide and doing the whole thing.
To me, they seem like they care after
she cried.
After they were forced to, because for me, I don't feel like they gave it them. Yeah, but we'll see next week. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of AFTERBUZZ TV R&B Divas LA. Please let everyone know where you can be found on social media.
Find me at All Eyes on Black on Twitter and ANT2 Black on Instagram.
And you can find me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode here on AFTERBUZZ TV R&B Divas LA. We'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.